Well, what's up, everybody?
What's up?
Welcome to another Victory Experience podcast. And we're so excited about doing these, man. Y'all should pass to Isha. She just loves doing these. She's in her element, her vein.
I didn't even know I was in my element or my vein.
But y'all should see her face.
Doing it. I mean, I did, but I didn't. Yeah,
so no, it's good. I like this. I like talking with you. And so we're excited about, content we're going to be loading.
Shooting the breeze.
Yeah, shooting the breeze. Like that's showing your age. That's showing your age. But today we're going to talk about the power of a vision board. We are so close to turn over to 2024. We're about to cross over, man. It's December, and we're getting ready to cross over into 2020. Can you believe that? Can you believe 23 is gone?
Yeah, I was telling your armor bearer on Sunday, because we said something about like it's already the middle of November or whatever, and I said, you know what? I think the older you get, the more time just goes by even quicker.
I must be older because it's flying real fast. It's like when
you're young, it doesn't seem like it flies by as fast.
That's
for
true.
some reason.
Maybe you got to have a young mindset.
I feel like it goes by faster and faster.
It does. I mean, we have Christmas decorations all up, and I feel like we just did this. We just did it, and everything's back up. But it's, but the exciting thing is, as we are wrapping up another year, we're about to launch into a brand new year.
Yes.
A brand new year, a brand new season. And so, with that, this topic that we're going to talk about today is so important, and that is about the power of a vision board.
Yeah.
The power of a vision board.
Yes.
Because, you really, when you're talking about vision, you're talking about doing things intentional. Talking about being intentional, and so many people, they just walk by whatever versus vision. And so, a vision board and being vision minded is so vitally important. So let's dive in. Let's talk about, first of all, before we talk about a vision board, let's, what is vision and why is it so important? Because some people don't know about vision. They don't know what a vision is. They don't, what is vision? What is vision? And, vision is all about being intentional, with your life. It's about being directed by something very specific. Proverbs 29 says, where there is no vision,
the people perish.
And it doesn't mean die, it means run amok. So a vision is something that undergirds you in directing your life.
Yeah.
Vision is something that you're going off of something that you've seen, something that's in front of you. It's about where you want to go, where you want to get to. And I think that that's so important because, like we just talked about when we opened up the program, time is short. Time is short and it flies by. And I think the older you get, you realize how precious time is.
Yeah.
And a vision and a vision board helps you maximize your time. And so many people are not vision driven. They're not vision led. But people that are vision driven or vision led are successful.
Yeah.
If you talk to any successful person, they have a vision. Whether it's for their life, for their business, their ministry, whatever it is, they have a vision. And so it's a vision, not just business, but life, your family, for your kids. And so vision is so important because it prevents you from not being productive. It prevents you from running amok, running astray. And you and I, man, we've been doing vision and vision boards for a long time. We lead our church in vision.
Well, I think, even with our church, we call it family vision board planning. And you got to put it as a family because I don't know what it is about men. Sometimes men, when you talk about vision boards, they just don't want to.
That's true.
I don't know.
That's true.
They just come, maybe because they look at it as arts and crafts or whatever.
Maybe.
But
it's tedious.
But it's so much more. And I loved how, I think it was in 2018, and I think from then on, you were able to give more of a vision to it, an understanding to it, of the importance to it, and talking about family vision. And we had that big giant
board. It was
I don't even know where we got that thing from.
It's here. It's around here somewhere.
But where do you even get something like that?
Yeah.
But you were able to allow people to see it for themselves. And the great thing about that is every time now when we do it every year, we always refer back, because you did a 4-part series.
Didn't we do that? We did that, right?
Yeah. We
did that.
Yeah, I think I was only in part 3 and 4, maybe. I don't remember.
Okay.
Maybe I was, But anyway, we actually showed them how to do at least the written part of the importance of a family vision and mission. Because even with our church, we talk about every Sunday, I quote the mission statement of our church, which is a summation of our vision. And I always say, and we say it even in our partnership class, that we will never do anything that does not line up with the vision and the mission of Victory. So it's the vision, is the mission that makes sure that we're on track in doing what God has told us to do according to our church and according to your family, because you want to make sure that you're not off track and doing, you could be doing anything, you know, because a good idea may not be a God idea.
Say that again. That's good.
A good idea may not be a God idea.
That's true.
Having a vision and having a vision board on what God is saying of how you want to accomplish that vision, that part of your vision for that upcoming year, helps you to stay on track for what God is saying for you and your family. And it's important.
It is. And so vision is important because the Bible reinforces, with it you're efficient. Without it, you can run amok. And so vision is important, but then it's not enough to have a vision. You really need to manifest that. And that's what a vision board comes into play. So let's talk about, because people may say, okay, some people could be we did something, Bring Your Bible to Church Sunday. And, we had when everybody go from your mobile device, your phone, your iPad, and bring a Bible. And it was special because it's something about touching it. It was something about looking at the scriptures literally in the Bible. And I think it's in principle, it's the same thing. Being digital is cool, but it's something else when you got that board in front of you where you're forced to look at it. You have it in a place where you're forced to look at it. But
it makes you think about, too, maybe are there areas that you said that you wanted to do that you see on that vision board that maybe you haven't started accomplishing yet. So it's also a reminder, we haven't worked on that piece yet. We need to be very intentional in making sure we're doing, because you could sit there and you could have plans, and those plans could be somewhere in the back somewhere, and you just ain't paid attention to the plans. But when you're seeing that vision, what you put on there as you're because we keep ours on that back door
that goes
where
goes
we
to
walk
where we
out,
go in and out the house,
to our garage.
You
see it, and it's a reminder of what you said that you were going to do for that upcoming year. And I know one of the things that we always struggled with is, and we keep it on there every year, it's like our family nights. Family nights where we're going to do games and different things and stuff. So it can be a reminder of what you said you want to do that maybe you haven't done, to make sure it stays in front of you.
And so let's kind of rewind. Let's rewind and kind of talk about the vision board. Somebody's like, what is a vision? What is it? You get, whether it is a piece of constructive paper, whatever the case is, and now you're going to get some visual things. You're going to cut out some pictures. Whether it's, if you got catalogs you need to throw away, it's a good time. Old, magazines, whatever. But cutting out pictures of that reflect goals that you want to accomplish. So things that you want to do. So whether that is, I want to write a book, getting a picture of a book. I want to take a certain type of vacation. I want to have a certain type of
one of the
car.
things that we would even do before we even get to that place, we'd have, like, even on our vision board, we'd have it in quadrants. Quadrants, spiritual goals, educational goals, physical goals, financial goals,
Yes.
and relational goals. What are things that we want to accomplish based upon our vision and mission for our family?
For our family, yeah.
What
Yeah.
is it that we want to accomplish in those different areas? And we'd have them in quadrants on the vision board,
Right.
and then putting those pictures and different things that we would cut out into those quadrants.
So that's,
on
so it's
the
first
board.
deciding, okay, what are our goals? What are our goals in this upcoming year? So in 2024, what do we want to accomplish as a family? What do we want, and your family could just be you. You might not just be you. It doesn't mean, you're not a family because you're not married, have children. A family is a unit. It could be you. But what do we want to accomplish as a family this year? Whether that, financially, what do we want to accomplish? As family events and outings, family fun night, whatever, throughout the year. What do we want to do? Vacations. What do we want to do? Educational things. I know one year we were believing for, one of our kids to get into school, to get into college. And what are those different goals? So I think it's good that you brought that out. What are the different goals and objectives we want to do in the upcoming year?
And so we would even have our kids, they're grown, most of them are,
no, they're all grown
they're
now.
Grown. I mean, the ones that would be living in the house, we tell them go and find pictures and words that express what you are believing God for. I remember even Christian, prior to getting engaged, he had on, I think one year he had on the engagement ring. Another year he had on a picture of two people getting married. So he was putting on the board what he was believing God for. I remember Jordan had Disney college internship. He had Disney. He was putting on the board what he was believing God for, to manifest.
And so it's finding these visuals that reflect what those goals are, because a picture is worth 1,000 words. A picture, that visual is so important. What does your goal look like? What does it look like? And being specific. So if it's a car, I want to get a new car this year. What type of car? What type of car, what color, and finding a picture of that car that you want. If it's a house, if it's a college program, whatever the case is, but a visual, and then laying out those visuals under those quadrants for those goals that you have.
And then we talk about taking it even further and posting scriptures that go along with what you're believing God for, so that you can pray those scriptures as a family and begin speaking what God says you're entitled to based on what you're believing God for. So when you're walking out of the house, not only do you see the picture, but you can be praying and speaking what you're entitled to based upon the word of God. Why? Because, the Bible says life and death are in the power of our tongue, and we will eat the fruit of what we speak. So it's one thing for us to see it, because we got to see it first. Once we see it, then we know what we can speak. Then once we speak it, then we have the opportunity for it to manifest in our lives. So they go hand in hand, and that is important.
And so I think, what you just said is so true. It's that visual that's in front of us first. It's that visual, having that visual that you see again and again and again. So we want to get, we want to get different pictures, different images that really mean that thing for us. And so we lay that out, and whether it's you as an individual, we've always done it as a family.
Well, you know what? I think it's good that you do it as a family, and people don't understand, because women aren't really many times quick to do it themselves. They'll go to vision board parties with just the women, and they'll do their little own vision boards. But it's good to do it as a family, where you have your family mission statement up there, and so that you guys are in agreement. The Bible says in Amos 3:3, how can two walk together unless they be agreed?
Go ahead and quote the scripture. Okay.
That the whole family is in agreement for what you're believing God for.
That's key.
As a family versus just one person. And then we'd be wondering, why isn't this happening? Why isn't this moving? Because y'all not in agreement on what God is supposed to be doing for your family. Let's get on one accord. Let's get into agreement and have a board for us and our family.
And this works for anything.
Amen.
It works for anything. It can work for materials. It can work for relationships. So you could have a person that they're on the outs with their mother, their father, a sibling. Man, you could put a picture up on that board, and as a reminder to you, but then it has to go from visual to verbal.
Amen.
From visual to verbal. And people don't get that. People get a visual, but what people don't understand, and you quoted it, there's life and death in the power of my tongue. The words create movement, you know, and because you said something too, you tie scripture to it. What's the Bible say about that? Because God says, I honor my word. So when you turn around and you have a visual and you now are verbalizing based upon the word of God, it obligates God to get involved and move. And now we're not saying that God's on your timeline. You know, it's his time, his season, but that word being quoted that reinforces what you're seeing, it gets God involved. And now, you know, you're declaring, and God begins to move and you begin to see things. It's amazing. You begin to see things come to pass. And so, you know, but it starts with these visual and then verbal, visual and verbal, and saying it and saying it and saying it and saying it, and not just saying it, but as opportunities open, because now what you're verbalizing, doors will begin to open for you to do something. So, you know, you believe in God for a house and you got a house up there. You're verbalizing, Lord, I thank you, you know, for my house. I thank you that you're called, you know, you'll walk with me and you'll open doors for me. You give me houses I didn't build and all those things. And then all of a sudden now an opportunity comes, right, for you to go check out a house and people will back down because they'll be looking at what I don't have or whatever the case is. But when a door opens, that's part of your faith too. Going through it, you know, seeing where it leads. Now, let's talk about this because, you know, we talked about creating a vision board, right? Talked about creating it. You know, you're getting something you're going to hang it on. You said you put it in quadrants, different categories on there, getting pictures. And some people might go, oh, that's petty. No, this works.
No,
this works.
Not petty.
Let's stop for a minute. This church, you know, our church, man, we built our church building, and we construction has begun. It's, you know, construction is underway, adding on. But you and I, when it first came to this building, we got a visual. We did really a vision board, if you will, because we turned around and we had a model built. We had a model of this building, little model, but it was every part of this building. And you and I I remember we would look at it and we would visualize ourselves walking in it, walking through it, going into different parts of the building. And then we got our whole church involved. We put that model in the building we were in at the time in the lobby. And was in a little glass container and had people go and look at it because we got everybody on the same page that this is what the Lord was going to do. So visualization and vision boards work. They're powerful. So now, once you turn around, man, you got your vision board, you have it hung up where you want it to be, with some place that either you're doing it digitally, you're going to be disciplined to look at it, or it's hung up someplace. Like we said, ours is, you know, it's on our door that since we go out of our house through our garage. Garages are of God. Garages are of God. If you don't have a garage, you need to put that on your vision board.
They're of God for you.
No, it's just garages, man, are weatherproof. Garages, if it's cold outside, your garage is not as cold as outside. You don't have to worry about cleaning off the snow off your car. If you don't have a garage, believe for one. I'm telling you, garages are of God. But for us, we go in and out of our house, out of the door that leads into the garage. So that vision board is there. So you see it every time. You see it. Now, you know, the benefits of that are awesome because vision boards work. I mean, every time we do a vision board, man, stuff begins to happen.
But it does. But one of the things that you talked about is about faith, and faith being corresponding, suitable, appropriate action. And I think that, though, a lot of people stop there with just creating the vision board and the vision board only. And one of the things that, and which is what we did in 2018, we pretty much then showed them how to then, once you create that vision board, how to create action plans to make sure that then you take what you have on that vision board and start creating. We did, I believe, SMART goals. It was on how to then take what you're seeing and you're believing God for, and what steps do you need to take in order to make them come to pass. Why? Because faith without works is dead. But you got to create a plan in order to make it happen. And that's where a lot of people get stuck.
They do.
They create these vision boards. They look all nice and they look
really
all good. But how are you making that come to pass? What are you doing every day? What are you doing today? What are you doing this month? What are you doing the next 3 months to make sure to hold yourself accountable? What is your corresponding, suitable, appropriate action for what you're believing God for out of His Word to make that come to pass.
Yes.
And then having people to hold you accountable. Take pictures of your vision board. Give it to the people you're holding yourself accountable to make sure you're going to do what even that you said you were going to do. Maybe give them a copy of your plan.
Right.
You know, because that is important.
Right.
And I think we stop short sometimes and don't take the next steps of that faith action steps to make sure that they come to pass.
Yeah, you know, one of the things I was thinking about as you were talking is, you know, so many times we bear all the responsibility of stuff coming to pass in our life on God. We put it on God. And God says, you know, you obtain his promises by patience and faith. And so so many times we don't think of our responsibility. So we get a vision board together, we invest this time, we tear up magazines, magazines and stuff. We get these pictures, spend all this time on this vision board, and it never crosses our mind of what we need to do next.
Yeah, I was thinking about, like, example, like when Jordan wanted to do the Disney Out College internship program. Okay, what do you got to do?
Right.
You got to apply.
Right.
You got to apply. When Christian, he said he wanted to get engaged. Okay, to Jovi. Okay, well, if you want to get engaged, you got to get a ring.
Right.
And she wanted a certain type of ring.
Right.
Okay, well, you got to make sure prior to when you're planning to get engaged, you know, that ring took 3 months prior. So there was action.
She has I think her ring is nicer than when your first one.
You know, so you can't just say, okay, you're waiting for it to manifest.
Right.
Oh, I'm waiting for God to just drop it from the sky.
I'm just meditating.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for it to happen.
Right.
No.
It's not going to happen.
What are you supposed to be doing on your end, your faith corresponding suitable action steps in order for what you put on that board to come to pass?
They don't get that. They don't get that. And so that's part of, so the benefits of making a vision board, let's kind of talk about that.
Like, I'll even say this, like, you know where we drop the ball sometimes?
Where?
Like, because we don't put on our
I don't drop the ball at all. What are we talking about?
Yes, we do. We drop the ball.
Yes.
Because like the areas that we fall short in is our family time.
Yes.
Family game night. That's what it is.
Family game night.
Yes. Because we said we wanted to do that, I think, you know, at least once a month or something like that. And that didn't happen. But you know why it didn't happen? Because we did not put it on the calendar.
Right.
And make it happen.
I don't think that's why it happened.
Yes.
I think it's because we were all intimidated by your competitiveness.
Well, that's not my fault.
Your competitiveness.
You know, if you just did it, you know, you get better every single time it happens, and maybe one day you'll win.
Oh, is that what it is? Your compassion goes out the door. It's like no, you're right. You're on a serious note.
But we would make sure every time we go on vacation.
Yeah, we have so much fun with it.
And we have fun.
Yeah, we have so much fun with it.
But we haven't done it as much as we had wanted to, because we realize that when we do it, we have fun.
Yeah.
We enjoy it.
I'm reminded of one time we were on vacation. And we were on family vacation, and we were playing Monopoly. And we're playing Monopoly.
And do you remember what you did?
Yeah, I remember what I did.
You got tired of playing.
No, well, let's put it in proper context. Let's put it in proper context.
You want to give all your money
let's
to
put
one
it.
of your kids.
Let's put it in proper context.
Versus taking that money and dividing
that's the
it amongst
competitive side.
Everybody else that was going to keep playing.
Let's put it
That's not nice.
For our listeners. Let's put it in proper context. The context was we've been playing for a few hours.
I know, but the game wasn't over.
I know, but it was like hours. We were like tarrying. It was hours. And so finally, I'm like, okay.
But the game wouldn't have been fair for you to then take your money and give it all to one player.
My money, I can give it to whoever I want to give it to.
That was not fair.
Favor's not fair.
Well,
I can give it to whoever I want to give it to.
The game was over.
And so because
it wasn't fair.
I gave it to who? Jordan. I think I gave it to Jordan, the youngest, the baby. It was part of his inheritance.
I made him split it.
And then you blocked his inheritance. But that's the competitiveness we deal with Pastor Isha. She's competitive. But but that's true, because one of the benefits of this vision board is it's now it leads you to plan of action. Plan of action. And many times we don't put this plan of action, and so there has to be this plan of action that takes place so that now I have clarity and focus of what I want to do. Because when you're operating off of a vision board, when you're going, these are my goals and these are this is what I need to do in order. So I have a picture of a car. Well, I need to go look for cars. I need to look at my finances and to make sure where am I budget-wise. But it gives you this clarity and this focus and this intentionality of living. There's this, I'm living intentional. I'm not going just haphazard. I'm being intentional of what I'm doing in my day-to-day life, because I have a visual that I'm verbalizing, that I have these goals that I'm living out, to bring to pass this thing. So it's an intentional way of living. But then I think, and you kind of hit it, you got to have this motivation to follow through. On the goals, because even you can set goals, but there's no motivation and discipline to follow through. If you're going to lose weight, there has to be this discipline to eat a certain way. If you're going to work out, there has to be this discipline to follow through on goals. So, and a vision board helps you because it sets you on that path. And, you go from being reactive to proactive when you have a vision board. I'm proactive versus reactive because, again, the year flies by. So now, instead of being reactive, because, one of the things people do, they have these New Year's resolutions. Right? New Year's resolutions, beginning of the year. This is my year. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then by February, it's over. But right now, as we're wrapping up, December of 23, people are getting their resolutions ready, man. And by February, it's going to be gone. But if you do a vision board and you do it right, and you have your visual and you have your verbalization and you have your goals, man, come February, you're rocking and rolling. You're still following through because you're going off of this visual, verbal, intentionality of way to living.
I think that's why our church is so successful too, because, we always vision cast to our church every year of what we believe God is saying to our church. Of what he wants to do next year based upon the vision and the mission of the church.
Right.
And then not only that, then we make all of our leaders create strategic plans on what it is that they're supposed to do in order to make the things that they're intending to do come to pass. How are you looking to do that in the upcoming year? Because if we just set it and we just waited for it to manifest, half of the stuff probably wouldn't even get done. If they didn't take the time to plan effectively.
Well, you know what I just thought about? I want to deviate. I want to deviate. So as I look over at you and I'm looking at you, I got you through visualization.
I knew that's what you were going to say.
I got you. I'm like, because, when I met you, man, I remember seeing you.
No, not just visualization. Verbalization.
And persistency.
And you did faith corresponding suitable, appropriate action. You came up to me and you talked to me and asked me for my phone number. And I remember I gave it to you, and I was surprised I gave it to you.
Yes, you did.
I was surprised myself, and
it was the
only reason I gave it to you because I said, this guy has a lot of
strength.
That wasn't what I said. I was thinking. I said for him to have the courage. That's not what I was thinking.
There you go. See, that's right.
The courage to come up, because most guys wouldn't do that or didn't do it. I said, I'm gonna give this guy my number.
Yes.
Just because he had the courage to do it.
Well, but see the whole thing is, so you gave me your number, and I remember we're walking down the hall, and I keep forgetting. So you wrote it.
Because I don't think you expected me to give it to you.
I was like, she gave me your number.
She's like, oh my God, she really did.
Yeah.
I think you expected me to say no.
So you wrote it on my hand. It was like out of a movie. And I have not washed my hand from that day to this.
Okay. Yeah.
And so, but I remember that. I was like, man, Isha Green gave me her number. And so I remember I had a picture of you on my mirror. And I would look at that picture, because...
You had a vision board of me?
I had a vision board.
You had a vision board?
It was a stalker board. But it was, I had this picture of you. I would hang it up on my mirror, and I would visualize me being with you. Even though at that point you had a boyfriend, and everybody was telling me she doesn't date younger guys and all that stuff, man. But I didn't listen to what other people said. I heard them, but I didn't listen to them. And I had this, I just visualized, and it became so real to me. What you get a visualization of that really gets real on the inside, it became so real to me.
And I think that's important when you're even doing vision boards.
Yes.
You got to believe what God is saying to you.
Right.
And you can't go with the naysayers, because a lot of times what God is telling you to do, most people don't even think is possible.
That's true. That's very, very true. Yeah. But when that gets real on the inside, you can't be talked out of it because it becomes so real. I think people don't get, you're really supposed to live from the inside out, not from the outside in. You're supposed to get things because one of the things we teach young pastors or pastors in training is vision is about seeing beyond your eyes.
Yeah.
It's about seeing what's in your heart. When you turn around and you see from your heart, it can override what you see with your eyes. So, you can have eyes and be blind. And so, a vision board, it really helps you to be proactive versus reactive. You're not reactive, man. You're being proactive, and it sets boundaries.
I remember when we first walked into our first building.
Yeah.
And it looked like a dump.
Yeah, it did. It was a dump.
And nobody else could see what it was that you could see.
Yeah.
But you had to go off of what you knew that God was
I was
saying
seeing potential.
And what you could see.
Yeah.
And because we believed in the vision that you saw, we said, well, okay, we can't see it.
Well, I think because it was so real.
Then we're going to follow you.
It was so real to me. I think that's the thing. If I was wishy-washy, if I was like, I see it, but I don't know, it was so real to me. I was seeing beyond the jacked up purple walls and the messed up carpet. And I was like, man, I was seeing something awesome. And that's the thing. When vision's real to you, man, via vision board and that stuff has become real to you, it's contagious. People can feel your passion on it.
Well, I think you step out and you do those corresponding suitable, appropriate action steps for what you're believing God for based upon what you put on that vision board, and you see it come to pass.
Yes.
You see manifestation of it. It gives you hope. It gives you, what you need then to keep going and to keep doing and believing God for the next thing and then doing for what God has for you next.
That's so true. That's so true. And then I said something a minute ago, it sets these boundaries and it helps in your decision making because now if you're trying to accomplish a certain thing, if you have a vision board and you want to turn around and you want to get a new house, well, you got to set boundaries, in your decision making concerning your finances. That maybe you're used to spending, but you got to save. You want to go on a vacation. You got a picture of a cruise ship, but you can't just keep eating out because maybe you got to save some money. So it sets these boundaries and it helps in your decision making. So many times people, they say they want to go after this, but they're not willing to do what it takes to go after that.
Amen.
So it really, when we were building the building, there was adjustments that had to be made. And so it really, really, really helps you live
people
an
think
intentional
I'm the
way.
bad cop at Victory.
Yeah, well, that's better you than me.
Especially when it comes
better
time
you than
to
me.
building, I'm
better
like,
you than me.
we can't do this, we can't do that.
I'm like, let's do it.
Because of what
Let's
we're
do it.
trying to achieve.
Right.
You know what
that's
I'm
exactly
saying?
right.
So, but
that's exactly right.
We're sticking to the vision.
So the question on the table to people listening is, as we're going into 2024, will your activity, what you do, will it line up with your vision board? That you got this vision board, but is what you're doing every day lining up with making that vision board a reality in your life? Because again, time is short. Time flies. And so, if you're going to write a book, what are you going to do? This is why getting a vision board for 24 is important now. Beginning to think about it and work through it. You can't wait till February or March. You got to get a vision board now as we're getting ready to cross over into 24 because you want that intentionality living. Will your life line up? Will your activities line up? Otherwise, months go by and what you said you were going to do, you haven't done at all. So this is very, very important. And so it's really, about, what do I need to do right now? Well, what we're doing for all of our church family, all of our partners, our small groups are going to have parties in January. We're going to have small group parties in January. And, if you're in a group, you need to be a part of that. It's like our whole church is going to be vision board.
And if you're not in a group, this is a great time to be a part of a group as they come together and they do these vision board parties.
So when you shout victory groups,
Connected.
So, I mean, so the time is now,
Yes.
because somebody may say, well, hey, you know, if you've never done a vision board before, it can be intimidating. Or, you know, just where do I start and what do I do? And it's not hard.
No.
You know, it's like when, you know, we've taken people evangelizing, go door to door evangelism. You know, we tell people for the first time, hey, listen, you don't have to do anything. Just go and observe. Because people are scared.
In
like,
small groups, they do it every year. They come together
so it's
and they
right.
do it every
so
year.
they do it every year. So all you got to do right now is go get you some construction paper. Go get you some construction
some of the
paper.
groups, depending upon the groups, many of them have the basic necessities.
They bring extra.
And they bring all that stuff. They'll tell you what you need to bring, but then they have a lot of the stuff. They have extra, usually magazines, the scissors, and the different things, you know.
Right, and it's and do it as a family, you know, and so
it's a great bonding time.
And so we have like how many small groups? We have like how many?
I think we've got somewhere between 30 and 40 different small groups.
So we have all
after people's passions.
Yes, we have all these different small groups. I mean, there's a group for, if you're a part of this church, there's a group, and you don't need to be part of our church.
Nope.
So if you're listening and you're not part of Victory, I don't know why you're not part of Victory, but if you you still can come. It's not just for our church, and get in an environment that's focused on doing a vision board. And I think that's key. Your environment is key. Your environment, getting around other people that are excited, because you're going to laugh, you're going to joke, you're going to have fun. And next thing you know, you got this vision board for your year.
And you get ideas that maybe you didn't even think of.
That's true.
You know, or maybe, you were thinking about something. I was thinking about this, but you're not sure what it really is.
Right.
And then if you see something else with someone, like, oh, that's what I was thinking of.
Right.
So, like you said, iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
So it's good to sometimes be around other people, other like-minded people that are going after similar things that you are.
And you don't have to be a creative person. You don't have to be a creative person at all. That's why, like you said, being around other people.
I get creativity sometimes looking at what other people are doing, and that just takes my mind to a whole nother level.
Right, it does. And then I remember every time we do a vision board and it's done, man, we done glued stuff on and all that stuff, you look at it and you go, wow, like you're seeing stuff. You're seeing stuff, and then it begins to help you, in that year. So we want to encourage people, man, as this year's coming to a close, get in a small group. Get in a small group, because our small groups are gearing up for these vision parties in January next month. Get in a small group, get connected. Go take this month, the remainder of this month, and check out some small groups. But get connected, because in January we go full throttle. Get your vision board intact and live intentional. And as you get visualization, verbalization, and an action plan, you'll be amazed at what your 2024 is going to be like. Actualization. Okay? So visualization, verbalization, actualization. I love it. And your 2024 will be very, very productive.
Amen.
This has been good. I love talking with you.
Yeah.
What you're supposed to say, I love talking with you too.
I was about to say, you're a keeper.
Y'all hear that? I'm a keeper. So this has been really good, man. So again, if you haven't subscribed, this is your first time, make sure you subscribe to the Victory Experience podcast, because there's so much content that's going to be uploaded all the time. You want to be notified every time we drop something, man, because we got more and more content that's being loaded every week. Get the word out. Help us get the word out, man. We're excited about what God is doing. All right. Well, awesome talking with y'all. We'll see you next time on the Victory Experience podcast. Talk to you later.